What's up, people? It's Firefish Trace, and MK1 releases in 2 weeks. So, since there's some downtime right now, I wanted to talk about my experience with the beta. Let's first talk about the gameplay. I think that it was incredible, honestly. The movement felt good, the buttons felt good. Sometimes when you watch it, it looks like the speed isn't there, but it really is when you play it. It's more of a feel than a sight. Mortal Kombat is in a good place right now, and can't wait for the release of it for the full game. Now, as we get into characters, I mainly played Lee Mei throughout the beta and tried a little bit of Kenshi. And as for cameo characters, I mainly used Frost and tried a little bit of Kano as well. So, talking about the characters, you can see how there really are change based on which cameo that you pick, because you're playing in a different game. If you use Frost, or if you use Jax, or if you use Kano, you're trying to get plus frames off of his ambush attacks. Jax is for the setup with his ground pound unblockable, and then Frost, she has mix-ups with her low ice freeze. It also wins trades in projectile wars. Then she also has the setups with the ice ball that she can call out on screen and then put your opponent into difficult situations. So you play differently based on which cameo character you choose, and I think that's the whole point of this game, is pairing different mains with different cameos so that you can play different matchups differently. As far as characters go, I think that Kenshi was obviously strong, but you didn't see a lot of him because he took more of a specialist. You had to be able to really work with those Sento stance combos. Otherwise, you were just playing a base, bland, dry game. That's not something that everybody can do. It'll take some practice, it'll take some time, and that's why I think with this game, they want you to specialize more with a couple of characters rather than play the whole roster like you did in MK11. If you're able to specialize with a character and then change their gameplay up by adding a cameo character, different cameos, then that could be more effective than trying to main the whole roster. So I think Kenshi is at the top of that tier list, and he's up there with Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage has very good buttons, has plus frames, but I think that will change once the game is released. He has good damage as well, but once the game is fully released and people get to playing against him, you'll realize that the up block mechanic that's new to MK1 will be very useful, because a lot of his strings end in overheads, and if you use the up block, then you get more flawless block timing, you get the plus frames are gone, and some are even punishable. So I think it'll just take more time and more gameplay to really be able to solid up your defense against that character, and we'll see how it goes once the game is fully released. Next that I'd have in that tier list is also Sub-Zero. He's up there, top tier. He can get extremely good damage, especially if he has the bar, since he can freeze multiple times in the same combo, and he has some pretty good mix when paired with the right cameos. You're able to get combos off of his overhead, his low. You're able to combo off of his special move that's armored. So if he wakes up slide and then has a Sonya cameo and she does square wave, he can combo off of that and get pretty good damage for just a wake up. Now, a lot of people were saying that Liu and Katana were actually like low tier and they couldn't play the game very well, and it's just not true. Katana, when paired with the right cameo, she does have damage. She has very good keep away, very good whiff punishing buttons, and she does have combos. You just gotta have the way to play her right. I played against a couple of good Katanas, and every time they were holding their own, and they had their own strategy that they could use to make the character good. So I think a lot of people just didn't want to put the time in, especially when you only have 3 days to find out if a character can play the game you want them to play. Now, Liu Kang, people were saying that he wasn't good because he doesn't have mix, but he has some of the best mids that are in this game. He has a launching mid that can be used twice in a combo to get over 40% with the right cameo. So I don't see that as being bad ever. And you have to be able to use the cameos to open up people in the way that you want them to, and not try and force the character to be able to play a game that they aren't able to play by themselves. It's a cameo game, and you got to be able to use those cameos. And then you have Lee May, who I put in the most time with on the beta, and I think that she honestly was the weakest character there. That being said, she's not weak at all. Well, she doesn't have mix. She has a low, that's a launcher, but it's non-confirmable. It's single hit, and it leaves her punishable. And then she doesn't have an overhead starter. She just has her overhead drop kick that she could cancel out of. And also, she does not have any confirmable mids. She has a 2-hitting mid, but it knocks down on the second hit. So I think that she lacked some of the buttons that other characters had. However, she was able to make up for it with a little bit of mix with the Frost cameo. She had a low overhead that you could turn into a low, and it would be a freezing string so that she could then get 40% mid screen off of one bar. And that's not weak at all. That's very strong. That's very good damage. She had lantern setups. She had setups with the Frost orb that she was able to, do a punishable move and then catch people pressing buttons trying to punish it. And then with the Jack setup, she had dangerous corner combos or lantern setups mid-screen that you could see get her 43%, and that's a very strong character to me. So I think that everyone is able to be a strong character with the different cameos that they have, and I think that that's what this game is meant to be. This is a cameo fighter. What you have to do is just find your pair or two that will help you to be able to play a game that you like to play, and then use that to face your opponents, figure out their game plan, and then figure out how you can shut it down. All in all, I'm very excited for this game and looking forward to it when it drops. If you like this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Mortal Kombat 1 comes out on September 19th. Go get it.